It's a freezing winter night, the kind of cold that cuts through bone. Two poor woodcutters are lost in a pine forest, barely keeping their footing in the snow. They're hungry, they're exhausted, they're ready to give up. And then a star falls from the sky. Have you ever made a wish on a falling star? Well, these two men did. But what they found wasn't gold, it wasn't treasure. It was something far more precious and far more dangerous. A little boy, wrapped in a cloak of gold, stitched with stars. Now, tonight's story is about that boy. About what happens when you grow up believing you're better than everyone else. When you think you're made of stars, and your own mother shows up at your door dressed in rags. This is a story about pride, about cruelty, about a mother's love that walks through fire to find her child, and about the price, the terrible price, of saying, "I don't know you," to the person who gave you life. So get comfortable, dim the lights, pour yourself something warm, because what I'm about to whisper to you tonight, it's going to stay with you. Let me tell you the story of the Star Child. Once upon a time, on a bitter winter night, two poor woodcutters were making their way home through a great pine forest. The snow was so thick it swallowed their boots, and the cold was the kind that silenced even the animals. Everything was still. Everything was frozen. Even the wolf, limping through the brushwood with his tail tucked between his legs, was grumbling. "This weather is monstrous," he snarled. "Why doesn't the government do something about it?" The little linnets twittered. "The old earth is dead, and they've laid her out in a white shroud." The turtle doves, sweet little things, whispered to each other, "No, no. The earth is getting married. This is her wedding dress." Their tiny pink feet were frost-bitten, but they felt it was their duty to see the beauty in things. The wolf rolled his eyes. "Nonsense, it's the government's fault. And if you don't believe me, I'll eat you." The wolf always had a practical mind. The two woodcutters trudged on, blowing on their fingers, stamping their heavy boots into the crusted snow. They slipped, they fell, they nearly lost their way. And when the terror of the forest started to close in on them, they said a prayer to St. Martin, the patron of travelers, and somehow they found the path again. Finally, they reached the edge of the forest, and down below, in the valley, they could see the warm lights of their little village. They laughed out loud with relief. The moon above them looked like a flower of gold, and the earth at their feet looked like a flower of silver. But the laughter didn't last. They remembered their poverty, and one of them said bitterly, "Why are we even laughing? Life is for the rich, not for men like us. Better if we died in the forest tonight. Better if a wild beast had finished us." "True," said the other. "Some are given everything, others nothing. The only thing this world shares equally is sorrow." And just as they spoke those words, something strange happened. A star, a brilliant, beautiful star, fell from the sky. It slipped past all the other stars, burning through the dark, and landed right behind a cluster of willow trees, just a stone's throw away. "Gold!" they cried. "A crock of gold for whoever finds it!" And they took off running. One reached it first. He pushed through the willows, and there, lying in the snow, was something glittering, something golden. He knelt down, reached for it, and found a cloak of golden fabric, embroidered all over with stars, wrapped in soft folds. His friend caught up, panting, and they sat down in the snow together to open it, to split the gold inside. But when they unwrapped the folds, there was no gold, no silver, no treasure of any kind, just a little child, fast asleep. The first man sighed. "Well, that's a bitter end to our luck. What use is a child to us? We have our own mouths to feed. Let's leave him here and go." But the second man shook his head. "No, it would be an evil thing to leave a baby here in the snow. I'm just as poor as you are. My pot's nearly empty. But I'll take him home. My wife will care for him." So he lifted the child gently, wrapped the golden cloak around him, and carried him down the hill. His friend walked beside him, shaking his head at what a fool he was. When they reached the village, his friend said, "You've got the child. Give me the cloak. It's only fair we split something." But the man said, "No, the cloak isn't mine. It isn't yours either. It belongs to the child." And he bid his friend good night and knocked on his own door. His wife opened it. When she saw him safe, she threw her arms around him, took his bundle of wood, brushed the snow from his boots, and told him to come inside. But he didn't move. "I found something in the forest," he said. "I brought it home for you to take care of." "What is it?" she asked. "Show me. The house is bare, and we need so many things." And he pulled back the cloak and showed her the sleeping child. "Oh, husband," she murmured, and her voice wasn't soft. "Don't we have children of our own, and now you're bringing a stranger's child to sit by our fire? Who knows if he'll bring bad luck? How are we supposed to feed him?" "But he's a star child," her husband said. And he told her the strange story of finding him. But she wasn't having it. She cried, "Our own children don't have enough bread. And now we should feed someone else's? Who cares for us? Who feeds us?" "God cares for even the sparrows," he said quietly. "He feeds them." "And don't the sparrows die of hunger in winter?" she shot back. "Isn't it winter now?" He said nothing. He just stood there in the doorway. A bitter wind blew in through the open door. She shivered. "Close the door," she said. "It's freezing." And he looked at her and said softly, "Doesn't a bitter wind always blow into a house where the heart is hard?" She had no answer. She turned toward the fire, but after a while she turned back, and her eyes were full of tears. He walked in. He placed the child in her arms. She kissed him, and she laid him down next to her own youngest in a little bed by the wall. The next morning the woodcutter took the golden cloak and the amber chain the child had worn around his neck, and locked them both away in a great chest. And so the star child grew up with the woodcutter's children. He sat at their table. He played their games. He was their brother. And every year he grew more beautiful. While the other children were dark-haired and sun-browned, this boy was pale as ivory. His curls were the color of daffodils. His lips were like rose petals. His eyes were like violets. His body was graceful as a flower in an untouched meadow. But here's the thing about beauty. It can be a gift, or it can be a curse. And for the star child, it became a curse, because he grew proud, he grew cruel, he grew selfish, He despised the other children. He called them low-born. He said he was noble, that he was the son of a star, and he made them his servants. He mocked the poor. He threw stones at beggars. He drove the blind and the crippled out of the village. And the other children, they followed him, because he was beautiful, and he could dance, and he could play the pipe, and wherever he led, they went. When he stabbed a mole in the eye with a sharp reed, they laughed. When he threw stones at a leper, they laughed. He used to lie by the well in the priest's orchard, staring at his own reflection, smiling at himself. He was in love with his own face. The woodcutter and his wife would scold him. "We didn't treat you this way when we found you helpless in the forest. Why are you so cruel to everyone who needs kindness?" The old priest would sit him down and say, "The fly is your brother. Don't harm him. The wild birds have their freedom. Don't trap them for fun. God made the mole and the worm. Each has its place. Who are you to bring pain into God's world?" But the star child didn't listen. He just frowned and walked away and went back to his friends. Now, one day, a poor beggar woman passed through the village. Her clothes were torn. Her feet were bleeding from the rough road. She looked exhausted. She sat down under a chestnut tree to rest. And when the star child saw her, he turned to his friends and said, "Look at that filthy beggar woman under our beautiful tree. Come on, let's drive her away. She's ugly." So he walked over. He threw stones at her. He mocked her. And she just stared at him, eyes full of terror, unable to look away. The woodcutter, who was chopping logs nearby, saw what was happening. He ran over and grabbed the boy. "What kind of heart do you have? What has this poor woman done to you?" The star child's face went red. He stamped his foot. "Who are you to question me? I'm not your son. I don't have to obey you." "That's true," said the woodcutter quietly. "But I showed you mercy when I found you in the forest." And when the beggar woman heard those words, she let out a cry and collapsed. The woodcutter carried her into his house. His wife cared for her. When she came to, they offered her food. They offered her drink, but she wouldn't touch anything. She just looked at the woodcutter and whispered, "Did you say the child was found in the forest 10 years ago this very day?" "Yes," said the woodcutter. "It was 10 years ago." "And was there an amber chain around his neck, a cloak of golden cloth embroidered with stars?" "Yes," said the woodcutter. And he opened the chest and brought them out and showed them to her. She wept. She wept with joy. "He's my son. He's my little boy. I lost him in the forest 10 years ago. I've wandered the whole world searching for him. Please, please, send for him. I need to see him." So they called the star child in. He came running, curious, expecting something wonderful. But when he saw the beggar woman waiting for him, he laughed. He actually laughed. "Where's my mother? I don't see anyone here but this filthy beggar." "I am your mother," she said. "You're out of your mind," he snapped. "I am not your son. You're a beggar. You're ugly. You're in rags. Get out of here. And don't let me see your disgusting face ever again." "But you are my son," she whispered, falling to her knees. She held out her arms. "Robbers stole you from me. They left you to die. But when I saw you, I knew, and the signs confirmed it. The golden cloak, the amber chain. Please, my son, I've searched the entire world for you. Come with me. I need your love. But the Star Child didn't move. His heart slammed shut like a door. And finally he spoke. His voice was cold. If you really are my mother, it would have been better if you'd stayed away. I thought I was the son of a star, not a beggar's brat. Get out. I don't want to see you again. Oh, my son, she cried, won't you at least kiss me before I go? I've suffered so much to find you. No, he said, you're too disgusting to look at. I'd rather kiss a toad, I'd rather kiss a snake than you. So she stood up, and she walked away into the forest, weeping. And when she was gone, the Star Child felt relieved. He ran back to his friends to play. But when they saw him coming, they screamed, "Get away from us! You're as foul as a toad. You're as loathsome as a snake." And they drove him out of the garden. The Star Child frowned. What are they talking about? He ran to the well to look at himself, to see his beautiful face. And when he looked down into the water, his face was the face of a toad. His body was scaled like a snake. He collapsed on the grass. He wept, and he understood. "This is my punishment," he whispered, "because I denied my mother, because I drove her away, because I was cruel. I have to find her. I have to find her, no matter how long it takes. I won't rest until I do." The woodcutter's little daughter came to him. She put a small hand on his shoulder. "It doesn't matter that you've lost your beauty," she said. "Stay with us. I won't mock you." But he shook his head. "No, I was cruel to my mother. This is my punishment. I have to go. I have to find her, and I have to beg her forgiveness." So he ran into the forest. He called out for her all day. There was no answer. That night he lay down on a bed of leaves, and the birds and animals fled from him because they remembered his cruelty. He was alone, except for the toad that watched him and the slow snake that crawled past. In the morning he ate bitter berries from the trees and kept walking. He asked the mole, "You can travel underground. Tell me, is my mother down there?" The mole said, "You blinded my eyes. How would I know?" He asked the linnet, "You can fly over the treetops. You can see the whole world. Have you seen my mother?" The linnet said, "You clipped my wings. How would I fly?" He asked the little squirrel, "Where is my mother?" The squirrel said, "You killed mine. Do you want to kill yours too?" And the Star Child wept. He bowed his head. He asked God's creatures for forgiveness, and he kept going. For 3 years he wandered through villages where children threw stones at him, through towns where farmers wouldn't let him sleep in their barns, through a world that had no love for him, no kindness, no charity, the same kind of world he had once created for others. And sometimes he thought he saw her, ahead of him on the road. He would run, calling out until his feet bled. But he could never catch up, and no one he asked had ever seen her. One evening he came to a great walled city by a river. He was exhausted. He was starving. He tried to enter, but the guards crossed their spears in front of him. "What's your business here?" "I'm looking for my mother," he said. "Please, let me pass. Maybe she's in this city." They laughed at him. One of them said, "Your mother won't be happy to see you. You're uglier than a marsh toad. Get lost." Another asked, "Who's your mother? Why do you want her?" "She's a beggar like me. I treated her terribly. I just want her forgiveness." But they wouldn't let him in. They poked him with their spears. As he turned away, weeping, a soldier in golden armor came up, a helmet with a winged lion on top, and asked what was happening. "It's just a beggar boy," the guard said. "We drove him off." "No," the soldier laughed. "Let's sell him as a slave for the price of a bowl of sweet wine." And an old man, an evil-looking old man, stepped out of the crowd. "I'll buy him for that price," he said, and he paid. And he led the star child away. He took him through the city, through a little gate overgrown with pomegranate trees, down 5 brass steps, into a garden filled with black poppies. And then he blindfolded the boy and led him down into a dungeon, lit by a single horn lantern. He gave him moldy bread. He gave him brackish water. And he locked him in. The old man was a magician, the most cunning magician in all of Libya. And the next morning he came down to the dungeon. "Listen to me, slave. In the forest outside this city there are 3 pieces of gold, 1 white, 1 yellow, 1 red. Today you'll bring me the white gold. If you don't, I'll beat you 100 times. Go." So the star child was sent into the forest, a forest that looked beautiful from outside, full of songbirds and sweet flowers. But the moment he entered, thorns sprang up around him. Nettles stung him. Thistles pierced his feet. He searched from morning until sunset. He couldn't find the gold. He was returning weeping when he heard a cry from the bushes. A little hare caught in a hunter's trap. And the star child, who had once tortured animals for fun, stopped. He knelt down. He opened the trap. "I'm just a slave myself," he whispered, "but I can give you your freedom." The hare looked up at him. "You've given me my freedom. What can I give you in return?" "I'm looking for a piece of white gold. If I don't bring it back, my master will beat me." "Come with me," said the hare. "I know where it is." And the hare led him to a great oak tree, and there, in a cleft in the bark, was the piece of white gold. "How can I thank you?" the star child asked. "You showed me mercy first," said the hare. "That's all." And it ran away. So the star child took the gold and hurried back to the city. But at the city gate there was a leper, a gray hood over his face, eyes glowing red like coals from behind the eye holes. He was striking a wooden bowl with a bell. "Please, give me a coin, or I'll die of hunger. They've thrown me out of the city. No one pities me." The star child hesitated. "I only have 1 piece of gold. If I don't bring it to my master, he'll beat me." But the leper begged. He pleaded, and the star child's heart, a heart that had once been stone, softened. He gave the leper his piece of white gold. When he returned empty-handed, the magician struck him. He gave him an empty plate, an empty cup. He threw him back in the dungeon. The next morning, Bring me the yellow gold today, or I'll keep you as my slave forever, and I'll whip you 300 times. Back to the forest, all day searching, nothing. He sat down, weeping, and the little hare appeared again. What's wrong? The yellow gold. I can't find it. Follow me. The hare led him to a pool. At the bottom, the yellow gold. The star child took it, thanked the hare, and ran for the city. And the leper was there again, begging, crying, desperate, and again. The star child gave it all away. The magician beat him harder this time, chained him, threw him back. The third morning, bring me the red gold, or I'll kill you. Back to the forest. The hare appeared one more time. The red gold is in the cave behind you. Go. The star child found it. He ran. And at the city gate, there was the leper, standing in the middle of the road. Give me the red gold, or I'll die. And the star child, knowing that this meant his death, handed it over. Your need is greater than mine. His heart was heavy. He knew what was coming. But when he walked through the city gate, the guards bowed down. How beautiful our Lord is! And a crowd began to follow him. Surely no one in the world is this beautiful. The star child wept. They're mocking me. They're making fun of my suffering. The crowd grew so large he lost his way and ended up in a great square in front of a palace. The palace gates opened. Priests came out. Officials. They bowed to him. You are our Lord. You are the one we've been waiting for, the son of our king. I'm no king's son, the star child said. I'm the child of a poor beggar woman. And why do you say I'm beautiful? I know how I look. And the soldier with the winged lion on his helmet raised a shield like a mirror. How can my Lord say he's not beautiful? The star child looked. His face, his real face, had come back to him. More than that, there was something new in his eyes, something he had never had before. The priests knelt. It was prophesied. On this day, the one who would rule us would come, take the crown, take the scepter, be our king in justice and in mercy. But the star child shook his head. I'm not worthy. I denied my mother. I won't rest until I find her and earn her forgiveness. Let me go. I have to keep searching. And as he turned away, in the crowd, behind the soldiers, he saw her, the beggar woman, his mother, and next to her, the leper. He cried out with joy. He ran. He fell at her feet. He kissed the wounds on her feet. He washed them with his tears. Mother, in the hour of my pride I denied you. In the hour of my humility, please accept me. Mother, I gave you hatred. Please give me love. Mother, I rejected you. Please receive your child now. But she said nothing. He reached out to the leper. He clasped his white feet. 3 times I gave you mercy. Please, tell my mother to speak to me, just once. But the leper said nothing, and the star child sobbed. Mother, my suffering is more than I can bear. Forgive me. Let me go back to the forest. And the beggar woman placed her hand on his head, and she said, Rise. And the leper placed his hand on his head, and he said, rise. And when the star child rose and looked at them, they were a king and a queen. And the queen said, "This is your father, the one you helped." And the king said, "This is your mother, the one whose feet you washed with your tears." They embraced him. They brought him into the palace. They dressed him in royal robes. They placed the crown on his head, the scepter in his hand, and he ruled over that city by the river. He ruled with justice. He ruled with mercy. He banished the evil magician. He sent rich gifts to the woodcutter and his wife, and honored their children. He forbade cruelty to any bird or beast. He taught love. He taught kindness. He taught charity. He gave bread to the poor. He gave clothes to the naked. And there was peace and plenty in the land. But he didn't rule for long. His suffering had been too great. The fire of his testing had been too bitter. After 3 years, he died. And the one who came after him ruled with cruelty. Outro. And that is where the story ends. The star child found his mother. He became a king. He ruled with love. But he only had 3 years. 3 years after everything. Because some wounds, even when they heal, leave scars so deep that our bodies can't carry them for long. Oscar Wilde wrote this story over 100 years ago. But tonight it found you. Or maybe you found it. Maybe you needed to hear it. Because here's the truth. Pride can turn the most beautiful face into the face of a toad. But humility can turn even a beggar into a king. Somewhere tonight there's a mother. She might be tired. She might be old. She might be wearing the same clothes she's worn for years. And the world might not see her as beautiful. But to someone, she walked through fire. She crossed continents. She gave up everything just to bring them into the world. Don't wait. Don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait until you're on your knees, weeping, begging for forgiveness from someone who can no longer hear you. Call her, hug her, tell her what she means to you today, because a mother's love, it's the only love in this world that walks through hell to find you and says nothing, and just places her hand on your head and whispers, "Rise." If this story touched you, do me a favor. Leave a comment. Tell me what it made you think of, who it made you want to call tonight. Your words might reach someone else who needs to hear them. And if you want more stories like this, stories that stay with you, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, because I'll be here next time with another whisper in the dark. Take care of yourself. Take care of the people you love. And remember, every story has a lesson, and every lesson has an echo. I'm Dede Whispers. Good night.